This is my fourth film with Guy Ritchie, so I'm sort of like used to working with him, and they just called me up and said, "Listen, we've got this script. It's very time sensitive because of what's happening in the world, and we want to look at doing it as quickly as possible." So we looked at Turkey, we looked at the UK, and we looked at Spain, and we ended up in Spain. Working with Guy is he's very different. He's maverick. He's totally unique to any other director I've worked for over the years, because he develops the story as we go through the story. And for me, it's incredibly liberating because he allows me to do my craft, to create a world, and as long as he believes it and we work to a certain standard, it's a dream. It's a real dream for a designer because you're allowed to just make it up. It's great. His level of sort of like perfection is quite astonishing, and it raises everybody's bar. It's quite amazing. And sometimes when we're looking at locations and we don't know quite if it's good enough or whatever, and I've always got the caveat to say, listen, I don't think it's good enough because I don't think Guy's going to accept this. So let's keep looking. And he wants 3 options for everything usually, which is actually a very, very straightforward way of working. It's all about being authentic and how are we going to create this look and where are we going to go? So we just done a film in Turkey. So I knew that Turkey had the sort of like landscapes. And I'd worked in Alicante before. I did a film called Oscar Wilde. And we had to look for Colorado. We couldn't go to America. And we did it in Alicante. So I knew these mountains here were great. Problems were getting vehicles here. American vehicles that are in Afghanistan, we've got to get them to wherever, Spain or Turkey. So that's a big issue, and it's a very vehicle-led film. You know, we've bought probably 40 vehicles. Some of them we've had to double and treble because we've been blowing them up. So it was a big logistical monster, and that had a huge impact on the design of it. And then when they decided to go to Spain, it was all about hiding the Spanishness. We've decided to shoot this very, very differently. It's very a wartime film, background of war, but we haven't got a dolly. The camera is always moving on Steadicam. We're using drones a lot. We're giving it a perspective that everybody's being watched. So a lot of high footage looking down, which you can cut into. And that gives us a very different way of creating the set. So I've always got to give them 360 degrees because you never know what the camera's going to see. They're looking up, they're looking down, they're going round. We're on vehicles. Vehicles are driving through shots. We've got big vistas. We're having to hide a lot of things with foreground elements like the sea, because we're in Alicante and they don't have the sea in Afghanistan. And then so working with Ed, the cameraman, it's the first time we've worked together. And you sort of like have to feel your way through with another creative because he's got a huge job to do. And I've got to give him an environment which is accurate and authentic. So that's been really great. And he's been really up for the bold use of color and the lack of lighting and the sources of lighting that we have used we've talked a lot about it. It's been great, but he's been really, really easy and designer friendly.